It is another Human First AI marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Mike Montague at Avenue 9. You can find us at avenue9.com, where we do all things Human First AI strategy, AI marketing systems and the technology part, or the execution content. And we want to create something cool, want to make a course, podcast, write a book. We'll figure it out, whatever it takes in order to help you reach your goals. My guest this week is Stephan Bajaio from Vibe Logic, and we're talking all things about the web presence and AEO, SEO, web design. We're going to go deep on how people are finding your business. And Stephan, I know you have some hot takes for us. So let's start with judging by the gray in our beards. We saw the SEO gold rush the first time around. How is it different this time? And I feel like everybody's just resetting to like stuffing keywords like we were doing like 1990s.
White writing, white background, but it's an AI prompt injection this time, right? Like I lived conversation today. It's insane. So hey folks, first of all, Mike, thanks so much for having me on. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Really excited to share some of the reasons I have gray, both good and bad. So I've earned these over 25 plus years in digital and definitely in SEO 14 plus with a lot of enterprise clients who I've gotten to speak truth to power to. Mm-hmm. So I'm usually the guy that they call the cool uncle. I'm going to tell you the stuff that mom's been trying to get across to you, like do your homework, eat your vegetables. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But cool uncle Stephan rolls into town and tells you. Somehow it comes across differently. So I hope it comes across a little differently today. So getting into it, let's see. Right now, everyone is obsessed with LLM rankings. And This is not the gold rush. I'm just warning you all.
It's also not a thing. LLMs don't create rankings.
Right. So like first and foremost, what we did, one, let's step back. SEOs, I love you. You're my industry. I have literally been the evangelist at Conductor and became an evangelist for like 4 or 5 years just to try to evangelize search within these large companies. Think Visa, AT&T, Uber, you name it. Yeah. All my clients in the past, again, humble brag, but more about the concept of trying to get into big companies that move at the rate of cruise ships, aka glacial, and trying to convince them that like search was important, right? So I care a lot about the SEO industry. And frankly, like I've been doing this for decades. But in saying that, we suck at naming. First of all, SEO is a stupid name. It wasn't search engine optimization, right? It was Stephan's employment opportunities. But like it was literally, it was stupid. Like we were optimizing content for whatever was going to ingest it, whatever was going to judge it, whatever. And so as much as we can say it was for the search engine, we were doing just as much work for the user, at least if we were doing it right?
I think so,
and
right.
If you weren't trying to game the system, right, which I think is very much Mike's point of his business and frankly, the whole concept of human first AI marketing or marketing in general, right, is this idea that, you know, if you're not helping people, you're just selling stuff. And not a lot of people wake up in the morning to just sell stuff. And not a lot of people go on the web to be sold to. Like, when was the last time you got excited about being sold to, Mike?
Yo, man, you're preaching my language here for sure. Because one, I think like optimizing for algorithms is dumb if when a person sees your ranking number one, clicks on it and then goes, what are all these keywords stuffed on it? And they leave and don't buy anything. You just wasted a ton of time and money and everybody's time and money. And Google figured that out pretty quick. And so they aligned their algorithms with human interest, right?
They
so
didn't want to admit it, by the way. I was fighting. I was yelling, dude, from every rooftop. I was yelling from rooftops saying click-through actually impacts rankings. What does that mean? It meant that, like, if they were clicking a lot on the second position result, that and bouncing from the first position, Google wasn't stupid. They'd recognize that they weren't serving the user well, and they'd make the second one rank better. So to
Yeah.
your
So then
point,
you go to social media and the same thing. Like people are, I wrote a book on LinkedIn that was published by LinkedIn themselves because I said, like, look, this doesn't scale. If everybody joins 50 groups, adds thousands of contacts, and posts 7 times a day, everybody's shouting and nobody's listening. Like this doesn't
yes,
make any sense. Oh, and by the way, if you have more than one person in your company, how are you going to have like, I worked with companies like Uber that like they have thousands of reps around the world. They can't all be social media influencers. So
right.
like, how do you use social media if you're not going to like spam the hell out of everybody? And then AEO comes along. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation
Yeah.
today because we've seen this movie play out before. And so now AI comes as a new tool and people are like, oh, well, how do we use it to spam the hell out of people? And you're like,
Well, I mean,
oh,
it's like anything. Okay. Like actually, I'm gray enough to tell you a story about back in the day. Back in the day, there was a time when a new technology evolved and everyone was clamoring to do something about this technology. And they spent money against it, even though people weren't necessarily adopting the technology at that rate. Companies came out of nowhere and got valuations of insane amounts of money that people, all the financial brains were saying, this is not possible. Your revenue can't be this low and your valuation this high. It can't be substantiated. And an entire market was built on this idea. At that time, I was an intern
mhm.
as a sophomore and then into junior year of college. And I was being billed at hourly rates of $250 to $275 an hour. I would go back and forth to New York City and I would bill every hour I could on the train and every hour. Now, I wasn't getting that in my pocket. I was getting paid well,
Right.
but my hourly rate was nowhere near that, right? What I'm talking to you all about right now is 99 into 2000. The image of what I'm seeing is glaringly similar. The market looks the same, the companies look the same. We were building websites before the entire issue of people being scared to put their credit cards online became a
Right.
thing that then led to trillions of dollars of fake credit card usage being written off by credit card companies because the amount of money they would then make, this $1 trillion was inconsequential comparative to the amount of fees they would be able to charge on this new technology.
Now, can we pause
Yeah,
here a second? Because that was
yeah,
one of the questions I wanted to ask you today is that like, as of the summer of 26 here, when we're recording,
right.
AI bot traffic has officially, according to Cloudflare, outpaced human traffic on the web. And my question is like, any agents really even got credit cards yet? Like we're trying to attract agents who are being ranked in these AI engines where nothing is being sold. How does that work? And do you feel
It's
like there is value in
it's
that,
backwards.
or
It's
is it all
backwards.
fool's gold?
It's backwards. It's backwards. It's backwards. Okay.
Hmm.
A bunch of people are going to sit here and they're going to work towards the version of AI that is a freaking chatbot. If you really think that is the quote unquote UX UI and version of AI that we've been waiting for, this is not the flying cars. Like, if we are going to get flying cars, this isn't it. So, like, before you go build an entire business model, structure, and so forth, based on algorithms you don't understand, systems that you don't know, and things that are changing at a rate. Trust me, I've worked in algorithms most of my life. I've tried not to chase them, but Google sure as hell kept changing them, right?
Right.
So the reality is you can either chase that, and again, the people that made money during the gold rush were the guys who sold you the pans and the picks. Most people went after fool's gold and didn't end up making generational wealth. Okay. So you could try that lotto ticket if you really think that's where it's at. But here's my thing. Even agents are a little bit stupid when you think about it. And we haven't even fully adopted them yet. Right.
Yeah.
This is the deet, 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 deet. And for those that are too young to recognize that sound, it's a sound of a dial-up modem. The point in which I'm talking about where I was helping to develop some of the world's first e-commerce brands on the web before people even had logos to say it's safe to put your credit card. Screens loaded slowly. Like images took a while to
Line by
load.
line.
We're in that version. You got your internet on a CD-ROM, a technology that you don't even know what I'm talking about, right? It came in the mail. Like, so all I'm saying is the version these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, this is not the version of AI that you should be thinking about right now. What you should be doing is taking all of the effort, money, and thought process where you're trying to chase, am I going to show up? Am I going to show up? Am I going to show up? And instead, you should be thinking, what's in my control? I control, first and foremost, hopefully my own website. And even that's questionable because if you're at a mid-sized company or a large company, everyone's getting their fingers in there and outdoing each other and screwing things up. And one side is building a sandcastle and the other side's eroding because it's too close to the ocean. And then someone's asking you to judge the success by the number of grains of sand. I've seen that. I've lived that. It's
right.
Right? Okay. So instead, if you were thinking, hey, am I really solving the problems that my customers have? Am I using their language? Is a bullet point on my page actually someone's entire reason for being here? Do I actually deserve to show up? Forget rank, show up. Am I considered one of the most important brands when it comes to topic, solving?
I want to highlight that. Let's pause there for a second because I feel like so many people are trying to hack the algorithms to get more than their fair share of visibility, which is like, if you're a small business with 10 employees and have small accounts, you're not going to outrank a national brand in AI, and you shouldn't. Right?
And you honestly, you don't even serve that business. So like, what are you doing? Like, I can't tell you how many times, because I deal with everyone now, right? I no longer am in just the enterprise game. So I play with enterprise, but I also play with mid-market and I also play with SMBs. And it drives me up the wall, right? When a smaller company that has yet to take their actual expertise and knowledge and use it online tells me, well, what about AI? And I'm like, okay, AI has its place. And I'll give you some examples, guys, because I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic and not give you insights of things you can act on. But like in the meanwhile, you're worried about AI visibility when you haven't even gotten your house cleaned. And we're talking about whether or not you should be inviting people in. And you're saying, well, we don't have all the publicity to get all these people in the way we want.
Right.
No, more isn't necessarily better. Specific and cater to what you do. I'll take that traffic every day, all day long. If it's a specific user, So here's the big secret, right? Everyone wants their photo at the top of Mount Everest. Why? Because it's the highest mountain, right? Okay, here's the problem. And that's all based on vertical feet. Now, if vertical feet's really what you want to achieve, there are 14 mountains that are about 4,000 feet in Maine. The odds of you dying climbing those mountains is very low. The odds of you getting injured climbing those mountains is low. You won't need 50 Sherpas. You won't need 6 months worth of training, and you won't need at least $75,000 to $150,000 to do it. Same vertical feet, higher likelihood of success. In fact, more vertical feet than you would get out of the 29,000 feet out of, and you'll get a picture on every summit. Okay. So what would you rather do? Climb Everest and risk death, not get your photo because most people don't end up summiting, weather, the whole thing, right? Okay. Sickness.
I think the other thing for me, I look at it a different way. I don't know why I look at it like as concentric circles, but I love this analogy you're giving because it's so much better, which is kind of like you get to pick your hill to die on here.
And you don't have to die. You don't have to die.
Yeah, you don't have to die.
You don't. My
thing is like own your house, own your website, own your community, own your customers first, own your local market. Then you can start to expand out to strangers. Then you can start moving out. But if you start trying to go wide, you're going to run out of money and time real fast.
Well, secret number one. Okay. So everybody lean in a bit because I'm going to tell you all something. The future of where this goes is that if we all have the quote unquote nuclear button of an easy button, to press to produce more content. One, if you didn't know this, that content doesn't perform. So if you actually, at least not organically, and even in AI generated content is not going to perform well in Google, for example. One, they've said so. Two, I've seen it from the graphs. And three, think about it logically. If I put honestly, forgive my French, but a piss poor prompt into ChatGPT and it cranks out a page for the web, and I put that page up, and then it gets a #1 ranking. And then ChatGPT goes back and goes, which one are the best ones? And then goes to Google and searches and takes back that page made with AI. It's a snake eating its own tail.
Right.
This is not bringing value to anyone, right? So we recognize that, one, that's not happening. So the true secret of what you can be doing here is if we all have an easy button, and we could argue that Mike's going to create a better prompt than me, so his could be more complex, and maybe he puts a page worth of prompting in. So it gets really intricate. Okay, at that point, we might diverge and we might create really different kinds of content. But the reality is that, one, him creating a page worth of prompt is not saving him as much time as you think. He has to put in time. And
right. Yeah. You could have just written the page of the blog.
Right. So that's a little bit of like, okay, why'd we do that if we were just going to, do it anyway, right? Could have just written the page. But here's the real point. It works off the same data, the same training knowledge, the same stuff that everything else is based off of. So its ability to create anything novel and or like truly more valuable than everything else that's out there isn't necessarily there. Now, you know what is more valuable and not necessarily out there? Your knowledge.
Yeah, original thought.
It's so weird, Mike. Mike, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 46.
Awesome. I'm 47. I've come to terms, and sorry, guys, I'm just going to put it out there. I've forgotten more about leadership, company culture, and marketing than some people probably listening to this podcast. Why have I forgotten it? Time. I have been bad at note taking. Had I had an AI LLM little like thing listening to every word I said over the last 14 years, not only would it be tired of my voice, I often am, but it would also have what I did in Q3 of 2015 and how I helped Uber with this, or how I helped that travelers with that, or how I helped, right? All that strategy is in my brain. And if I don't ever get it down on paper, right, all that knowledge, all that tribal knowledge is lost to my memory.
Right.
Okay. So I would argue that if you have your 10,000 hours as a business owner, right, as an expert in your field, which is how we judge expertise, right? 10,000 hours of doing something, you have a blank, you have the gut. So if you have that, you need to find a way to take that information and turn it into something that proves you have it online. Something that shows the humanity that you understand the person, not sell to them. But hey, I know I was just talking to someone about roofing, and I was saying, I'm not an expert roofer, but I'm going to assume that if someone has solar panels on their roof, they're going to have to think about what to do in replacing the roof, right? Because now you got to take the solar panels off, which led me to believe, well, shouldn't I actually get in front of people who are thinking about putting solar panels on their roof? If the roof's old, you might want to fix the roof first, so you don't go through the cost of taking the panels off during a re-roofing. And I'm not a roofer. I know nothing about roofing, right? But I know some expert is going to tell you, yeah, it costs 20% more when we have this. We have to worry about it. They should bring in an electrician, blah, 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 blah. And all of that is insight that doesn't necessarily live out there. It might, but you know the nuance. You know the questions the buyer asks. You know the things that keep them up at night and make them worry. You also know the things you've said that help assuage their fears and make them feel like you have them. And as long as you're the kind of company, I want to be clear here, I'm trying to help the kind of companies that help people, not actually just swoop in, take money, and get the hell out.
Right. Me too. That's why the human first part works on several levels. Is one, you got to do the human part. Like you're saying, you got to live that experience first. You got to put in your original thought first. 2, you got to put the customers first, which is a huge part of it. And then 3, I think also is you're talking about the easy button and stuff, is put your employees first. Like, do you want to use AI to just create the cogs, like pay them less and get less? Or do you want to make them superheroes, have them produce more and like grow your business with it?
Mike, I am shocked. Every day I'm shocked. Every day the internet is ruined for me. And you know why? It's because I end up on these websites where the people are the product. Like, we're literally talking now about consultancies. We're talking about people that put their about us, their board members that are like legit, like real big deals, right? And when you go there, they don't even have a page devoted to each one of them. And if they do have a page, they don't have any of their wisdom written in. So they don't have any articles written by them. They don't have any videos produced by them. They don't have any media, Stephan,
you're speaking my language and you're selling it for me. But I came from a world of radio where like the morning show hosts on the radio are the biggest deal in the world. And if they don't get ratings and they get fired, the next radio hosts are the biggest deal in the world. Wait till you hear the next, Joe and Susie morning show. It's going to be great because the personalities build the radio station. They don't subtract from it. So like if you hid those and go, oh, don't worry about who's on the radio show. You just love B105 or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't work. It
doesn't work.
The logo.
And hold on, like I want to also step back. We're not expecting, because I know there's a bunch of people that are maybe introverts by nature listening to this and going like, well, I'm not the cult of personality. I'm not going to jump onto all the podcasts. I'm not. Okay, cool. I'm going to speak directly to you right now. The ones who are more like Mike and I, that's great. Like, by all means, get in front of the camera, do your thing, and repurpose that content 5 million ways to Sunday, okay? Gary Vee's got a right point. You definitely should be doing that. One, let's frame this. Google has already said this for a long time. It's called EAT, EEAT, okay? It's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. I have been saying for a while, we're moving towards a world of the real ID of authorship. Real ID being that, enhanced license that you need to have to get on an airplane. With the AI easy button that we talked about before, we need to know there's a real human behind, willing to put their name behind it, okay? Now, does that mean you need to be with as many gray hairs or have cool lighting in the background? We could argue, right? Yeah. But in reality, there's an entire space of companies no one talks about that died with this AI thing, and it's transcription companies. There used to be companies who transcribed it. Nobody talks about them. They're all dead because
I paid them. I was
every single one of them are built into this solution. Right now, this podcast we're on, Mike and I, this is going to be transcribed, and that transcription can then get used here, there, and the other. One of the things I do, every meeting with my meeting note taker, I have Fireflies, it's recording. I can go back and use snippets from that, insight from that. Here's some interesting thoughts, guys. Don't just do things vertically, do them horizontally. So follow me on this. You have 5.
I love it. So, that's exactly what I do at Avenue 9 is if you can't do it for you, I'll help you out. I'll interview your founder, your top salesperson, your best clients, and like capture those stories for you. And then I'll turn it into cool stuff that we can put out there. I'd love to ask you.
Hold on. Sorry. I got to do one thing, Mike, just because I want to finish this one point. The horizontal version of this, okay, Mike and I work at the same company, let's say. All right. And so do 3 others. We're experts on human first. So we set it up so he answers 5 questions about what is human first marketing, human first leadership, human first. And so we make them varied enough, these 5 questions, right? He answers those 5 questions. I answer the same 5 questions. So do 3 other employees. Now we can either do interview with Stephan, transcribed piece of content, build out of that, or you could do answer 1 for Mike, Stephan, Jessica, Trevor, all across horizontally, and you just got a piece of content that goes this way. So the point is, like, the data is there for the taking. You don't have to be on camera. It can be transcribed. It can literally be brainstorming. It's there for you. You just need to take that wisdom that I talked about and get it down. Now, sorry, I interrupted you, Mike. Hit me up. What's next?
Nope, you nailed it. I love that too. I think not enough, I call it degenerative engineering. Not enough people are trying to work backwards from stuff they've
Yeah.
already created rather than like create
Oh my
new
God.
slop. So now I think we've been doing an awesome job of talking about strategy. I hope people were following along. But my last question for you is kind of here, like, where do you see that going? If we do things right, what happens? How does AI catch up, and how do we get like our fair share of
Okay.
visibility and web presence from it?
So I'm going to try and hit like 3 points quickly because we don't have a ton of time, I'm sure, and I want to make sure to get these in for us. One, you're absolutely right. Content is languishing right now. Like I had an article that I wrote that was 4 pages long to try and tell executives why one writer doesn't equal 4 blogs a month. Instead, I took the concept of what went into writing a blog, took it to Claude, and created a calculator I call the vibe check, where you can literally move things. Am I using a subject matter expert in this? How many rounds of reviews are we looking at? How difficult is it to rank for the words we're going after? All this stuff, and it tells you a range of the amount of time we think it'll take to produce the content. Now, how many executives do you think would have sat down and read a 4-page dissertation of mine about how long it takes to produce content? 0. But if I change that to something they can play with, right? All of a sudden, I just empowered them. So go back and I challenge you to look at all the content you currently have. I am shocked that no one is using AI instead of trying to chase LLM rankings, right? References, citations. Instead of doing that, look at the content you currently have, whether it's internally or externally, what you're sharing with people. How could I turn this into an interactive engagement? Not because it's going to rank.
Love that.
But because you can share that through every channel possible. Now, why did I make the comment?
Number 2?
Oh, why did I make the comment about agents before? Okay, which is, again, where I think it's going. The keeper of the data wins. Apple has won. Mark my words, Apple won. They didn't get involved with trying to be the ones creating the agents. You know why? Because creating the agents is almost a fool's errand. It's something that if you don't have the dots to connect, your agent isn't powerful. Right now, we're letting agents go and sign in and do all this stuff on their own. This is the Wild West version. As soon as we see legislation and other things coming into play, which is coming, right? You're not going to just be able to let you're going to have companies like Stripe, other companies where connectors have to exist and you have to go through these points. And those are the keepers of the data layer. Apple got smart and said, no. If I have all the apps on my OS, your access to those will be essentially bought through me, right? I will be the one to arbitrate how you access those. They are the true winners in this. So it's not about your ability to connect dots. It's about your ability to have access to the dots. That's where the win comes in the future. All the cool stuff you want created, which, by the way, should not be reactive. Do you think I should go tell an agent to go do something it knows it should do for me? No. When I get in my car tomorrow to drive into New York City, Spotify should know that I tend to, based on the Weather Channel and its connection to it, when it's raining, maybe it rains tomorrow, and I drive to destination, Waze tells it where I'm going, I like to listen to driving music mix, and that comes on. Yeah. Right? It knows this. I don't have to tell it. I don't have to train it. That is the invisible layer that will be the quote unquote assistance of the future, right? That will be the value that Spotify and Waze and others can say, sign up for me and sign up for my integrative experience, because when you do, 1, they're going to get a lot more data about you, and 2, which they can resell, and 2, they're going to be able to, quote unquote, make your life easier. And you're going to say, how did I ever get in my car and decide what playlist when this thing does it automatically for me? Right?
Yeah. I love that. And was there a number 3?
Number 3, what I call web presence intelligence. It's more of the middle. I don't believe that we are going to be focused as much as marketers on channel marketing. Your customer, you're the person who's interpreting this data. right? The whole concept of SEO has been, if demand was there and we understood it, be supply. No. If demand is there, understand what shows up both in the LLMs and in the search engines, and use that information to place smart bets. Those bets may come in the form of social, when it comes to, oh, wow, there's a Reddit thread that ranks really well and gets cited in the LLMs constantly. And I would love to rank for the terms it does, but that's Reddit. So why don't I take my subject matter expert and not sell, but solve in this conversation? That might get associated with my brand. And oh yeah, guess what? That publisher that shows up next, they have a display opportunity for me to buy out, not based programmatically, but literally on the ads that are there that are relevant to the content I know people are consuming. And oh yeah, there's a writer who's not very well known and my PR team probably doesn't even know about. But if I take that person and bring it back to them, they're probably going to be the person next tapped, unless they're like an editor at that, that publisher, to write the next article about that very specific topic because they have experience with it. And partnership. And
I like that. And that's the hand-to-hand combat that like people aren't willing to do. They're looking for that easy button, but business and sales and marketing has always been built in hand-to-hand combat, one piece at a time, brick by brick.
Dude, the AI is
unfortunately, we've run out of time here, Stephan. So Stephan Bajaio from VibeLogic, VibeLogic.com. I want you to check that out. But in the meantime, tell us how you can help us or how we can help you with this.
Sure. So if you are a business who needs help with thought leadership, needs help with visibility, needs help connecting with that audience correctly, and then understanding what that visibility looks like to know where to take action, whether it's before you even put a new business line in place, because we look at the landscape and then tell you where to get the most, elevation potentially and visibility, or whether you're just trying to, frankly, make a deeper connection with your audience and aren't sure how you can do that. We definitely specialize in that, big and small companies, and we love helping people. So please don't sell. I don't need more sales pitches in my LinkedIn inbox. But even if you found this enjoyable and just want to say hi and that you appreciate it, you'd be surprised. Mike,
that sounds great. And as far as Avenue 9 goes, we'll help you figure out the content, the messaging, the strategy for all of that. Yeah, like Stephan said, you got to get your house in order and get your room cleaned before you invite people over. That's what we help you do. Go to avenue9.com for more information. Until then, share this episode with somebody that you think needs to hear it, and keep going. Have fun, everybody.